Go to springfieldofficecleaning.com.
Okay, we're good.
The views expressed on this show are those of the host, guest, and callers, and not those of radio station KICK, Vision Communications Incorporated, its management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program. Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin.
Good afternoon. I don't hear me, but it's okay.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so go for it.
Let's do it. Let's get started. Today's show is a very special focus, very important topic, which is bone health, joint health, musculoskeletal health, which is very important. Lots of people with osteoporosis and lots of other issues, but lots of people who want to stay healthy and young and keep their health. But also, we're going to talk about other ways to improve health. But today's show is focused specifically on the musculoskeletal system. So listen carefully if you're interested. Now, we're going to start by about 20-30 minutes discussion about the topic so that we get a chance to, share the information, knowledge, and then we'll take any question from anything from the feet down to the head, basically, you name it. So, Dr. Shealy, anything you got to say in the meantime?
Well, don't forget, you can call us to ask those questions, and don't be bashful. 417-447-1777. So, I think it's important to remind people that, in this crazy time, and I won't go any further than that. If you don't think it's crazy, well, be good. And you may want to consider acupuncture just for health in general. One of my favorite acupuncture treatments is the treatment for nonviolent madness. Mm-hmm. And I would say we don't have that down because we have violent madness. But
yes.
Nevertheless, if you want to calm yourself, you might want to consider consulting with Dr. Jill, Wellness Concepts Clinic. Dr. Jill is the only acupuncturist I can truly recommend. She's right here in Springfield at 1200 East Woodhurst, Suite R300, 877-1300, wellnessconceptsclinic.com. And, of course, all year, every day, you need your access to, what's called health foods. And the place I recommend is Spring Valley Natural Foods. I was in there this morning, and what I like about that is you walk in and they come to the door to open the door for you if they see you coming.
Oh, indeed, absolutely. Yeah.
And you find things for you. If you go to some of these stores, you can spend hours trying to find a bottle of peanuts. But at any rate, Spring Valley, of course, carries all of our goodies. Dr. Shealy does Shealy-Sorin wellness products, our magnesium lotion, our eugesterone cream, our youth formula, our essential multivitamin, the essential oils that we use in our bliss oils. But most important, they've got what you want at a health food store. And of course, remember, the average American is getting only 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables average a day. You need a minimum of 5, and you could do that just by adding Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. 3.75 servings of fruits and vegetables in 2 tablespoons.
And tastes great.
And it tastes good. It's good for you. It's antioxidant. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your cholesterol. And it's available in the produce department at real grocery stores. Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. Our favorite, antioxidant.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Let's get to the topic as well, because, there's so many things we can talk about health, but bone health, joint health, and metabolism, and calcitonin. Let's start with the basics. There's lots of people out there who have aches, pains, but most, even more so, osteoporosis, fractures, hips, and otherwise.
Well, at the top of the list, of course, is vitamin D3.
Yes.
80% of Americans are low in vitamin D3. And it's the most important, essential for your health, your immune system, and your bones. If you weigh 140 pounds or more, you need 50,000 units once a week. Under 140 pounds, 50,000 units the first 10th and 20th of every month.
Mm-hmm.
That's the basic. Now, the second most important thing is magnesium, and you need it on the skin, not in your mouth. It's a waste of money and time to take magnesium orally. But on the skin, it's absorbed well, and it helps to raise your DHEA, the anti-stress hormone, as well as it's the most important component in your bones other than calcium.
Exactly. And raising DHEA by 60%, I mean, that's wonderful. There is, I'm going to also say, since we're talking about supplements and things that can strengthen the bones, things that you can take, is I would also include the essentials and the youth formula, just because it's, well, literally, it's essential.
Well, it is essential, and it's more essential today than it used to be because of pollution.
Mm-hmm. So B complex, let's talk about what those are. Again, it's
B1, B2, B3, folic acid, B12, it's a whole bunch of things.
Exactly.
But the essentials includes, of course, the traces of a lot of other things, including even some vitamin A. And, it's essential. I mean, I think you could die if you don't take that. And it increases your risk of Alzheimer's and brain loss if you don't take it.
True.
As well as, of course, youth formula, which also raises your DHEA 60%.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, is a combination of vitamin C, but it's important to have MSM with your vitamin C and a little beta-1,3 glucan.
And that's how you double.
Molybdenum.
Exactly. That's how you double the effect of vitamin C, but also that's how you get DHEA.
Exactly.
If you just take vitamin C, you don't get the DHEA.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you take MSM, you don't get it either, but you take the two together.
Yes.
60% rise.
So that's what I like about this combination. There's other things that are very helpful. Now, I wrote an article a couple of years ago in the Greene County Journal on boron, and it was titled something like boron, anything but boring. Now, Dr. Shealy is known about boron for a long time, but boron has been, and I would say in the amounts of anywhere, I recommend from 9 to 15 milligrams.
Depending on your weight, absolutely.
Yeah. That is not only good for the bones, but it's also essential for the endocrine system. There's so many benefits.
Yeah, it's essential. Period.
It's essential. Period. Yeah, and I think a few other things that people should know about, and I think most people are aware: glucosamine and chondroitin.
Well, I think they are very important. There is one thing, by the way, called joint support powder, which is if you don't want to have to worry about taking individual things. Joint support powder made by the company now, and we carry that in the store. It's an excellent combination of those.
Yep, realholisticdoc.com.
Yes.
So that's supplements, but let's talk about even some of the basic things. If you don't buy anything, how do you improve your bone and joint health? Movement. Weight-bearing exercise, activity.
And 90% of Americans are sitting ducks.
Yes.
If you sit all day, you might as well be a duck waiting for the hunter to get you, because you are going to have not only osteoporosis, but you actually have the diseases of the heart equal to a smoker of 1 or 2 packs of cigarette a day.
Lack of movement. The body is meant to move.
It's meant to move. You should be exercising 30 minutes, 5 days a week. That's a minimum. That's not an optimal. That's a minimum.
Minimum, exactly. How often, and how much do you exercise?
Well, only 2 hours every day, 7 days a week.
No fail.
No.
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh man. And how old are you again?
I'm only 88, but I still feel 26.
Well, that's why you look it, because you do all the right things.
Well, to me, that's common sense. Common sense is doing what makes sense.
Oh, and speaking of the Common Sense book, we have a revision coming out. I promise, very shortly now. The book is almost there.
Well, I've been hearing that for a year, but I'll trust it when I see it.
We're getting close. Trust me. The other things that can be done, and this is very important. Again, there is vibration machines, vibration plates.
Now, by the way, I want to talk about my favorite, because in 1994, I bought a very good Vibe machine for $2,500. Well, 2 years ago, when it wore out finally, I bought one for $250.
Wow.
And it's called Confidence, CONFIDENCE. You can buy it on Amazon. and it works to me just as well as the $2,500 one.
And that's amazing because even for people who, let's say, who are afraid to do the weight-bearing exercise, let's say they do have...
just hold on and vibrate.
Exactly.
You could go from 10 to 50 cycles per minute. And, well, it feels good. I mean, 30 minutes of my exercise is standing on that Vibe machine while doing this as vigorously as I can.
Yes. And in that 10, 15 minutes, and I've been into exercise my whole life. I mean, not 2 hours a day, but I get on that Vibe plate, in other words, and at the office or at home, there's one in each place. I feel like I had a workout, literally.
Well, it is a workout.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally is. It increases your heart rate. I mean, I can get on the Vibe machine and my heart rate is 60 at rest, and I can get it up to 95 just standing on the Vibe machine, not even moving my arms.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's various adaptations on the plate. But the bottom line is, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's the bottom line. So use your body. Utilize, in other words, move your body, I should say. Move your body.
It's even good for weight loss in people who are overweight.
Yeah, lymphatics helps to move the lymph.
Yes.
So many benefits. I mean, that's blood flow. Now, there is one other way, very powerful way to increase calcitonin. Let's talk about calcitonin in the setting of bone and joint health. Very important factor.
Calcitonin is a hormone made in the thyroid gland. It has nothing to do with thyroid itself. For some reason, the thyroid makes it. And it is milligram for milligram, many, many times stronger than morphine. Now, we don't make grams of it, but it's still an important thing. But more importantly, it keeps your bones strong.
Yes.
It's critical for keeping bone and magnesium working together, an appetite. APATIT.
That's right. Absolutely. The trouble is, as people get older, let's say, or they stop exercising, stop moving, and it's not necessarily an older person's disease, osteoporosis. I've seen 20-year-olds with osteoporosis, but that's sedentary folks who haven't done anything since they're born. It's kind of crazy. I see older 20-year-olds than the ones that are in our practice who are in the 80s and 90s, literally. Kind of crazy. How do you? I already know the answer, but let's just kind of discuss. Mention to as far as how do you increase calcitonin in your body?
Well, by stimulating the ring of earth, grounding yourself.
Yes.
And the ring of earth is a circuit of 13 different specific acupuncture points. Now, you could stimulate them with needles, but then you're going to have to go to the office to get it done at least once a week forever.
Mm-hmm.
And in 30 seconds at home, you can apply Earth Bliss, and it works just as well.
Yep. And what I love about it is that there was actually research, science, and white paper basically that was generated showing that there is indeed a significant increase in the calcitonin.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And the beautiful thing about transcutaneous acupuncture, by the way, is for anyone who is a fan of acupuncture, it's a 4,000+ year old tradition. It's wonderful. But the capacity to do something at home, 30 seconds, and covering the entire circuit, and to obtain the benefits without having to leave the house necessarily. In this day and age, it's hard to leave the house. In some cases, but yeah, that's.
Well, the important thing is you can do it at home, and it is worth doing. Now, remember, if you include Fire Bliss and Earth Bliss and Crystal Bliss, it regrows your telomeres 3.5% a year. That's like gaining 4.5 years of life every year.
Easily.
And it's cumulative.
Wonderful. Now, up until the stress of the current situation, your telomeres were basically doing fantastic, really.
Yes. On the other hand, I think it is important. Major stress issues can cause a 5 or 10 year loss of telomeres, like the death of my wife. That year, my telomeres dropped 20%.
Oh, God, that's a major stressor.
And so I had to restart all over again. And then, it'll soon be 5 years, my heavens.
About 5 years now, yeah.
In April, I had surgery on the back, and they dropped 3 years at that time just from the surgery.
Wow. Now, so just to imagine how many people who have, I just want to talk about the stress factor, and I'm going to stay away from any of the other discussions right now because we want to stay on the radio, like I said. But how many people in the last year with a situation going on around the world have faced increased stress? Now, interestingly enough, worth mentioning again the study on telomeres that we were doing. It was an ongoing. We weren't intending to study the result of the stress in the current world. It was not our intention. Our intention was literally to study the telomeres as they grow, and they did grow initially, and then
we had done it for 6 months, and the telomeres grew a whopping 8%.
Yes,
but then, starting with the stupidemic, we started a study with 60 people. And the telomeres dropped in everybody.
Oh, God, yes.
They dropped up to 10%. And that's what a year of universal community, national, and other stress can do for you.
And I'm just going to say this out loud. It has nothing to do with any virus or any biological creature out there or non-biological creature. This has to do with stress. Stress is behind 85 to 90% of everything that happens. And guess what? It's killing everybody.
And that's only been known since about 1910.
That's about
Sir William Osler,
mm-hmm.
the so-called father of American medicine, talked about stress as the cause of illness in about 1908.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So so let's just remind people, folks out there, if you want to stay healthy, happy, and if you're interested in living beyond 100, but not just living in a nursing home style, living a good life, really, you got to have. There's many ways you can go about it, but what we know for sure is if you use a certain combination of bliss oils and transcutaneous acupuncture, fire, crystal, and earth, and the earth is the one that works on the calcitonin and the bones and joints. So that's how the whole thing kind of comes in. But I'm just gonna say. In the holistic sense, everything relates to everything. You can't really literally separate this is this or this organ system or that organ system. Everything's affected. That's
my favorite statement of all of my stupid favorite statements, of which I have lots. Every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, emotions, hopes, companions, despair.
Exactly. Stress is not just physical stress. No, obviously, if somebody who hasn't exercised goes out and runs a marathon, that's a physical stress. By the way, I've done that. I just wanted to see what I could do without training, and I did finish the distance, but I couldn't walk for the next 3 weeks, literally. But again, that's physical stress. But there's other stressors beyond that, and there. When you have stress, emotional, mental, and we mentioned a few things: the stress on the telomeres, on the genetic aspects of our life, but also stress in every part. But there is a way to deal with stress.
And the simplest, bestest way in the world is autogenic training.
That's a start. Yes.
28,000 scientific references. I know of nothing in the history of the world in which there are 28,000 scientific references showing how good it is.
Literally a powerful biofeedback technique going back to 1912, exactly. Now, I think he started the work earlier than that, but that's when it was officially...
that's when it became a science.
That's right. And it's a very powerful modality, part of the biogenics. And now the concept is you start with the autogenic training, and we used to actually earlier, people ask me this question still, why, it used to be available on the, we used to have go to the website, download it, and just get your free autogenic training. But what happened was people did not see the value, did not realize what this amazing free tool, because, the concept is, if it's free, it doesn't have value. I mean, that's what I'm understanding from most folks. So what we did was we actually took that away as a free thing, just again, and we put it in the context of the biogenics itself. The biogenics is a course that we have developed. Well, we both spent a lot of time recording and putting all of our knowledge information, including 68 various exercises, but not just what it is, but how to approach it, what to do, and it's based on the concept of an intensive. It's almost as good, I would say. Of course, with some guidance is better, but
right. People with the most severe anxiety and depression and chronic pain,
Yeah.
This is the top recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And it could mean you might want to do up to 8 hours a day of retraining your brain. What else you got to do if you can't work anyway?
Exactly. If it's dysfunctional, just do some work. Do something good for yourself. And by the way, the rings, the Calcitonin, the ring of Earth, and all the other rings are part of Biogenics. So in a way, let me ask you a question. You've had some experiences with people activating the rings, the circuits, just by simply intention.
You can actually test yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a test called Oxidata.
Mm-hmm.
It's a urine test. You could do it at home. And the average person is having a lot of free radicals. Free radicals are dead cells.
Mm.
They are the walls of your cells, which are made out of fat, being metabolized. And the average person is running 3+ to 5+, and you want 1+ or less.
Yeah.
And so if you do the ring of crystal every day for a month, it will reduce your free radicals a whopping 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2 weeks, it'll reduce them 40%, and that's darn good. So test yourself, and then you can do with Crystal Bliss and find out whether it works for you. But the chances are it will.
Yep. Mind is a powerful thing. Every thought is a prayer, literally.
Well, this is not just the mind, however, because it includes stimulation of the 13 points of the ring of crystal.
That's right. So the whole concept of holism, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Let's not forget about the spiritual, because that's the key.
It's the critical one. It's the one that got thrown out of medicine 300 years ago.
And it's still out, by the way.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's out of life in general, especially in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
It's never been in government, as far as I can tell.
No.
It hasn't been in most universities.
I would say spiritual, the sense, the word freedom, my favorite word of the entire universe. And what does freedom mean to me? Freedom to me means it's not just the freedom to do certain things. It's a freedom of knowing that I'm okay. Freedom of knowing I don't need to depend on the drugs. I don't need to depend on medications, on pharmaceutical industry. I don't need to, in other words, I'm okay. I'm enough. I've got everything I need within me. In other words, if you were to drop me off in the middle of a deserted island and, with enough food, of course, and to survive, I would still be okay just because of my physiology is all right. And so is my mental state and so on and so forth. That's
what you're calling freedom there is, of course, an important thing, because you're talking freedom from stress and anxiety.
That's it. Yeah.
I call it detach.
Ah, okay.
In other words, if I can't fix it, I ain't going to allow it to bother me.
And what's the point? If you can't do anything about it, you're just carrying a burden that's...
Why play broken records?
Exactly. And by the way, the Biogenics is still on a special, it's going to be on a special for the next few days to maybe a week. $97 for the entire course. Your entire lifetime of work since 1971 started, actually. 72. That's right. Yeah, and powerful stuff. Well, let's just summarize briefly where we are, and then we'll start taking questions after the break. And of course, call us with any questions, anything that comes to mind.
417-447-1777.
Yep, bone health, life, and everything in between. Yep. And we're on the break, but we're still on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So this is our...
questions yet?
Is there anything?
So one of them comes from Susan, and she was asking, I think this follows up with what you guys were discussing about boron.
Boron, yeah.
She asked, what do you think about taking borax?
We recommend strongly. How much do you weigh, Susan? If you weigh at least 100 pounds, I would take 9 milligrams.
Borax?
Borax? No, not
no. That's a question. That's a different.
Borax? I didn't hear the word. I'm sorry. No, I prefer boron.
Yeah. I would
Borax
say.
Is for killing roaches.
Stay with boron. And if you've got cockroaches, then that's. Okay. Any other questions there, Rob?
Yeah. So Denise asks. She says last week, Dr. Sorin said that you would recommend 2 ring treatments a day with oils. But she said if you're recommending 3, like the earth, fire, crystal for the telomeres, is that different? Or I would think maybe she's asking if she does them all at the same time and 2.
Oh yeah, okay. Rings. My preference, and this is what I do. 5. I use all 5 rings just because the cumulative benefit. In other words, you get the benefit of each, plus you get the benefit of the overall. Plus, there's combinations, telomeres, and everything else. But you can what about end? You can do this once a day. You can do it twice a day. You can do it more, but I don't think there's much value in that.
I don't think there's any value to doing it more than once a day, probably. But it won't hurt to do it twice a day.
Yeah,
it's safe.
But if you're going to do that, if you're going to use those rings, I would say just whatever, morning, evening, whatever your time is, just choose a time and just do them all at once. That's an easy way, and you're already there. 30 seconds each once you get really good. And Rob, anybody else there?
And then Suzanne was asking, she said that low dose naltrexone. Any opinions on that?
Love it, love it, love it, love it. I actually have a number of clients on low-dose naltrexone. It's anti-inflammatory. It's used in rheumatological conditions, and it can be a good alternative to something like prednisone or immune suppressants. So I love it. And of course, now there's some indications, contraindications, but if anybody is interested, I love those kind of consultations. And if anybody is, I'm just going to say it out loud, our clinic is 417-351-5221. If you want to call in and schedule an appointment to discuss options, it's one of my favorite topics.
Okay, and Denise was going to follow up. She was the one that asked about the bliss oils.
Mm-hmm.
So when she does the bliss oils, does she do all 5 rings at the same time?
Preferably.
And
Preferably.
Does all 5 rings twice a day?
Well, that'd
once
be
a day is adequate.
Once a day is generally adequate. Now, if somebody's got a severe condition,
it won't hurt to do it twice a day.
You can do it twice a day. But the once a day, it's going to last you 1 month, and that's usually sufficient. That's how we did research. Yeah. And any others?
And then this one's a big one, but Sherry was asking for recommendations for the treatment of cancer.
Ooh,
treatment
that's
of
a big
cancer
one.
is a big one.
Yeah.
In my opinion, not the top of the list, other than D3 and in the basics, is intravenous vitamin C and intravenous ozone. Those are the only things I would do under no circumstance could you force me into chemotherapy or radiation.
And I've been through some chemotherapy as part of my colon cancer experience. I don't, I'm cancer-free right now, but I was told I would be dead in 2 years, from 2007 to 2009.
And you would have been if you stayed on chemotherapy.
And if I stayed on that, plus there were other suggestions and recommendations, like, I told them to go someplace where, I'm not going to say it too loud on the radio, but,
go to government.
Yeah, exactly. The idea and the concept is I changed the lifestyle. I changed, again, just think of camping. You're out camping, you got food, bears come around, stop feeding the bears. The bear will no longer be interested in coming to the campsite, hopefully, for the most part. So stay away from sugar, from carbohydrate, from carbs. In other words, don't feed the beast, so to speak. There's some basics, there's supplements, immune support, but vitamin C, ozone, intravenous. And by the way, we love to do that in our practice. So if any questions, please, give us a call. But if you're not local, of course, you can perhaps find a holistic provider near you that does those modalities.
You got about 15 seconds.
15 seconds before we're back. Thank you. Wonderful questions. Anything else there? Or
that's all we have right now.
Good timing. Great.
Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Now, back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin.
And now is your turn. 417-447-1777. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes. Hello, Dr. Shealy.
Hi.
I have a question about, get your opinion about some problems I've been having with my gallbladder.
Okay. What kind of problems are you having with your gallbladder?
About last July, I had like a pretty bad attack and then didn't have anything else until right after the holidays. Of course, was not eating good at all.
Well, my dear, For people like you, one meal of not eating well can aggravate your gallbladder.
Hmm.
You cannot afford the luxury of junk.
Right. So I've been on a strict diet for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and it got better. And then I had a really bad attack over the past weekend.
Even without eating junk.
No, I did eat a hamburger.
I can't help you. There's nothing I can do to stop you from eating junk. Now, I can tell you what you might do to assist the process. It won't help. It won't help if you keep eating junk.
Right.
There are two things: a castor oil pack,
Hmm.
or a cloth soaked in castor oil over your especially right upper abdomen, with a heating pad for an hour, or wrap yourself in Saran wrap and sleep in it all night. Every night for a week, and then once a week. Secondly, milk thistle.
Hmm.
Okay.
And if you take milk thistle, I think it's 250 to 400 milligrams, it can also quiet down the liver.
Plus, Dr. Sergey Sorin, I'm going to jump in here. A good digestive enzyme is going to go a long way here, because part of the process problem with the gallbladder is it's supposed to provide all the digestive assistance to the process. And when it's being stressed, or when we put junk in our bodies, again, the stress is just beyond what the body can handle.
Especially lipase, but you need
But all three, yeah.
trypsin. You need the whole
Pancreas, protease, lipase, amylase, yeah, all those, yeah, you got it.
The time has come, as the walrus said, to take care of yourself.
And
no junk.
And I just want to say out there, don't be in a rush to remove the gallbladder, because if the eating habits don't change, the removing the gallbladder is not going to solve the problem alone.
Yeah, and I'd do that if at all possible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate it. I couldn't understand the very last thing that you said. But
digestive enzyme.
Right after that.
What did we say right after digestive enzyme?
You were talking about the different kinds of enzymes, but that it's the three of them for protein, for fat, and for carbohydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A good general brand will give you a good formula for the most part.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
The time has come, the walrus said, to take care of yourself. And good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
Are you there? Bye-bye.
Oh, we got something.
Protein, fat, and carbohydrate.
I hear something, but it's kind of... A good general brand will give you the formula for the most part.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, I appreciate it.
This is Helene from Reno, Nevada.
Helene, yes. How are you? Long time no here?
I'm good.
About a week, right? I mean...
I'm a 68-year-old woman, and I had a DEXA scan. That's the bone scan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're seeing a weakness on my left hip.
Left hip especially,
I only take, the DEXA and the boron and the astaxanthin.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add glucosamine and chondroitin. How much of that should I take?
How much glucosamine and chondroitin?
I personally would get Now Products joint support powder and take it according to the label on the bottle. That's my favorite. It's a balanced project.
Mm-hmm.
So go by the... Okay. They're saying 2 to 5.
That's why I say...
So I wasn't sure.
That's why I say get Now Products joint support powder. It gives you the right... My mother was on it for the last 30 years of her life.
Right. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing in the beginning of the show. Helen, thank you so much for sparking the memory there. Hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid supports the connective tissue. Connective tissue connects everything from the toes all the way to the scalp and all the way down. And so it comes in a liquid form. It comes sometimes in a what you can drink, but it really is another additional factor. Mm-hmm. I think we Helen.
She disconnected. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so that's I think that's that. Do we have somebody else right now, or?
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Did we lose you?
Can we help you?
Yeah. Hi.
I'm not sure if...
Yeah, I think we disconnected. Yeah, but we got you back. All right. Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's me, Helene. I'm calling back.
Yeah, wonderful.
I would like to share with your audience that you two just talked about the vibration plate, and I have one, and I really enjoy it. I put it in front of my TV, and I do it for 10 minutes, and I also have in front of my TV for 20 minutes. I do a stationary bike. Norm doesn't like TV, but it gets me moving, so I do it.
Hey, halitosis is better, no breath at all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Actually, I like one of Norm's favorite exercises, as a matter of fact, which is bouncing, which is actually the simplest thing in the universe. You can do that in front of any, whether TV or not.
Bounce with Dr. Shealy on YouTube. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I like the vibration plate a lot.
Yes, I agree.
I did want to share that Norm's favorite, one of his favorite superfoods is the moringa. And for the ladies out there, they have products for the skin with the moringa, and I like that too. And something that I like a lot is with a company with the initials of EL. And okay, thank you for everything. Bye.
Helene, you're awesome.
Thank
you.
For calling. Have a good one.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
And good afternoon.
Hello.
Can we help you?
Yes. Well, I was calling to the telecast. Who am I? I need to know what. I don't know what to say. I don't know the questions to ask. So.
Well, you're calling the show Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sorin. If you're interested in any kind of health advice, we're happy to give you some good general direction. But if unless you have a question, we're just gonna keep talking about general health, I think.
Okay, if that's what you're doing, then I definitely have some questions. Okay, well, my problem is this: I'm a diabetic. I have stage 3 kidney disease. I have hearing problems. I have sight problems. I also have heart problems also.
There's nothing we can do except a consultation.
Actually, that's a serious combination of things. I'm glad you're calling. I'm glad you're considering holistic. This is a time for a consultation. Consult. Put everything in perspective. Mind, body, spirit, but also the entire perspective.
Yeah, we can do it by phone or Skype or Zoom, but it's got to be a consultation. 417-351-5221. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sorin.
Hello, Bob.
Miracle workers of the Ozarks.
Yes, sir.
Hey, gentlemen, this is your friend Bob Mundy, Ozark Jubilee. 2 quick questions, and I know there's some other boomers out there wondering for prostate problems. What is your answer? And also, what are you thinking about the zeolites by now?
Okay, I don't know the answer yet, but I like the concept of the zeolite pure body. And in about another 3 months, I'll be ready to check my own level and see whether it's worked. But other than that, I don't know. As for the prostate, of course, you've got to take beta-sitosterol, saw palmetto, pygeum, and zinc. And if they don't work, there's only one approach. And I just think I found a urologist in Bolivar who may do the green laser.
Oh, wow.
I just saw something about it. I was looking it up this morning, and there ain't one in Springfield, but I've been sending people over to, near Kansas City, and they referred one of the patients back to the guy in Bolivar.
That's closer. That's wonderful. Yeah.
And so I do recommend strongly a consultation with a urologist in Bolivar if you can't control it with those approaches.
Last quick question. Lion's mane for some of the people that have dementia or beginning Alzheimer's. Will lion's mane help that?
It's part of the thing, but it's a very comprehensive program. Actually, the essentials and the vitamin D3 and the youthful plus the gamma PEMF device are the most fabulous thing in the world for early dementia.
Wow, fantastic. I knew you guys were the miracle workers of the Ozarks. Thank you so much.
Hey, have a good one, Bob. Thanks.
Thank
You too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
What can we do?
Am I calling the radio show?
You are. Wellness Wednesdays, Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sorin. We're here.
Oh, hi.
Mm-hmm. Do you have
What's
a question?
your question?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
That's okay, but what can we help you with?
Oh, I want to know, I don't have my thyroid. I had it removed. So how do I make calcitonin?
Calcitonin. Okay, let's talk. Let's round up about calcitonin.
Calcitonin is a hormone made in the thyroid gland that keeps the bone strong.
Yes.
And you can measure it in the bloodstream to find out what you've got. Is your thyroid function normal?
No, I don't have my thyroid anymore. I take medication.
So you would have difficulty making calcitonin.
If your thyroid's low, it may not work to try to restore your calcitonin. However, it's worth trying. It can't harm you to take it for a month as Earth Bliss.
Okay, so you would still recommend
I'd
Earth
still
Bliss.
try it, and then recheck your calcitonin level.
Yes,
You just get a blood test?
It's a blood
It's a
test.
blood test.
You bet. Yeah.
Yeah, but find out if get a baseline and use the Earth Bliss for 1 month and then recheck your calcitonin. We found about 60% of the time, even with low thyroid, it'll still work.
Oh, okay, because I thought my thyroid made it and I didn't have one. Like, how does it affect people? Because a lot of people don't have their thyroids. And, like, how do you make more of it if you don't have the thyroid to make it?
Well, it's not made by the same part of the thyroid gland that makes thyroid hormone.
Oh.
Mm.
But I don't have any of my thyroid left, so.
It's been taken out?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's taken out, then it won't work. There's no point in trying Earth Bliss if your thyroid's been removed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but how does it affect my bone health for the rest of my life?
Well, it certainly doesn't help your bone health. I think here's where you would really focus on the basics of the lifestyle. Weight-bearing exercise. I think the vibration plate is certainly a good way to go. But also, as we mentioned before, there are certain supplements. There is, for example, a good B complex, such as Dr. Shealy's Essentials.
D3.
Useful D3 magnesium lotion, not by mouth. D3 50,000 units if you're over 135 pounds, then it's once a week. But also boron between 9 to 15 milligrams, depending on the weight. And we also mentioned glucosamine and chondroitin. But yeah, that makes it a little more difficult if you don't have a thyroid entirely to work on calcitonin, unfortunately.
That's
Actually,
right.
Dr. Shealy, let me ask you a question. Now you've been doing this a bit longer than most of us have. Your whole life, I should say. Have you ever seen anybody without thyroid respond to the Earth Bliss?
I have not.
You have not.
No, when the thyroid's been taken out, it's not
entirely
okay.
Yeah. If it's intact but low functioning, it works.
If you still got the thyroid gland, it's worth trying.
Okay.
No, I don't have it, so that's why I thought I'd call and see,
Yes, ma'am.
about that.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And now is your turn. 417-447-1777. Problem is, every thought is a prayer, every action is a prayer, and a result. They're both the same.
Exactly. Well, there's action and consequences, or inaction and consequences. And I do want to say, for everyone who is listening to the program, for anyone who is listening to anything health-wise or interested in health-wise, you have to follow through with action. You have to do things. In other words, just knowing things is not enough. Information is fantastic. Knowledge is good, but you've got to take action, and you got to. Whether it's walking, taking steps, taking the supplements, if you have thyroid, taking the Earth Bliss and some perhaps other things, but you've got to take action.
If you want to be stupid, die early. It's that simple. And stupid is avoiding natural, healthy habits.
Now, let's talk about bone health and some of the alternatives, because we hear a lot of questions about it. Some stuff like alendronate and some of the other medications that supposedly make the bones stronger.
There is no circumstance in which I would take a drug for osteoporosis. It increases your risk of fracture and loss of your jaws. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon. I'm a 71-year-old female. I've been following you for years, Dr. Shealy, and I do the magnesium, do youth formula. I do pretty much your kind of basic protocol.
Okay.
And I have some bone loss with the DEXA scan, and I don't really want to go on the meds that my doctor is talking to me about. So,
Okay. Are you taking boron already?
I'm not taking boron.
Okay. How much do you weigh?
130.
Then I would take 9, even 12 milligrams.
Yeah.
12 milligrams of boron, B-O-R-O-N. Take it all at
Mhm.
one time, once a day, and go to look up Bounce with Dr. Shealy
Okay.
on YouTube. It'll show you how to do it. Start with 5 minutes if you can, and every
Okay.
day add 1 minute until you are doing 30 minutes every day of your life. That's the simplest and safest way. The boron, and you're taking the D3 already. So if the boron plus the D3
Yes. Yep.
and the magnesium lotion and Bounce.
Now, let's not forget, I just going to ask you a question. Do you still have your thyroid as, in other words, not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
In that
Yeah.
case,
Well, it could help also to do Earth Bliss.
Earth Bliss. That's
First place. Okay.
transcutaneous.
And
Mhm.
should I be taking a calcium supplement?
Calcium supplements,
If you're
no.
taking D3, you don't need calcium supplements. Now, if you're not taking D3, are you drinking milk or any milk products?
I'm not on milk.
Okay, then if you don't eat, drink milk and you're taking D, I would actually add 500 milligrams of calcium a day then.
But there's so much
Okay,
better
what-
ways. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I'm doing almond milk and cashew milk, and it does have calcium added to it.
Let me jump in with my concept on this. Milk and dairy, they may have several issues. There's hormones in the milk, and now again, does it do good for calcium? Yes, but calcium is present in foods. If you eat properly, if you eat decently, you'll get calcium. It's a question of what happens with the calcium once it goes into your body. So that's where vitamin D, magnesium, and all the boron, all the other recommendations, because you can take all the stuff in. If it's not going to be utilized properly, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And the Earth Bliss. All right.
And the Earth Bliss. Yep.
Okay. And do you worry? I mean, the minor bone loss at 71, right?
Minor bone loss at 71. Now, if God bless, you're doing better than most. But the other thing is, we mentioned something like a vibratory plate, in other words, or things that I think you're going to do just fine. And I wouldn't necessarily jump to the recommendation of the conventional doctor, for example, on the.
In fact, I'd bite his hand off before I give it to me.
Well, that's spoken like a true Sagittarian right there. That's.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
All right. Got it. Thank you very much.
Bounce with boron. Thank you. Thanks for calling. I hate to be too repetitive. However, we still have time for another question. 417-447-1777. Or we'll find out. We'll talk.
And we can talk. Now, stress. Again, let's come back to the stress and stress management. In our society, in our world, we have stress. We can't get away from stress. It's actually mounting, getting tighter. It's the situation is, well, it's interesting. So the higher the stress level, the higher the need for self-regulation. And holistic means everything is united. Everything relates to everything, and everything is important. Of course, in relative amounts and proportions, but you got to do all of the above: mind, body, and spirit. And by the way, the Biogenics does have the visualization exercises for the transcutaneous acupuncture. So personally, I'm just going to say this one thing. When I do the oils, when I do the like fire, air, crystal, earth, I actually do a meditation based on what the exercise is.
Right.
But I've now cut it down to basically a 30-second technique, really. apply the points, and there you go. Mind is powerful. Oh, we got a caller.
Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Shealy.
Hi.
I was wondering about, my thyroid nodules just grew a little bit. And I don't know how I can bring that down.
Thyroid nodule is growing. Has it been, have you been checked out for what it may be? Can you
turn your radio off?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a radio on.
Oh, huh.
Oh, there's.
I heard another voice.
It's like a feedback. Yeah.
It's like a feedback. Yeah. Well, we can hear you. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. What can I take to, like kind of swollen a little bit? What can I take to get rid of them?
Thyroid nodules. Good question.
I would put castor oil packs on your neck. I would sleep with a castor oil pack on your neck.
And
I've been doing that for a couple days now.
Yeah, I do it for a couple of months.
Now, what about iodine? Do you take iodine as a supplement?
Yep. My iodine is fine because they checked it.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, I would not take extra iodine then, but I would do a castor oil pack for a month or two.
And then see what happens, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, somebody told me it would take like 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I said at least a couple months. Yeah.
That's reasonable. Yeah. Unless things get worse. If it gets worse, obviously needs evaluation. But mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Oh, yeah.
The important thing is you can take care of yourself. And that's what we recommend under most circumstances. And that's what we're here to help you with. And if you can't do it today, you can always get us at 351-5221. And remember, you are responsible. I'm not. Your other doctors are not. But we are happy to guide you and recommend to you what we think is optimal from a holistic point of view.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say, we don't cure anybody, really. We as a doctor, as a teacher, as an educator, we have certain knowledge, information, science, protocols, science, research. It's powerful stuff, but it's only useful if you apply it. If a person makes a decision to live their best life, to take action, that's when it takes place.
And nothing is a substitute for auditing training. There's many different ways to meditate, but auditing training is not meditation. It is training your brain to function optimally and stress-free.
And now part of the Biogenics, you get the entire thing. Now, less than $100. So I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer for Facebook Live, YouTube Live. So stay with us if you're watching us. And radio-wise, we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Anything on Facebook?
Any other questions that came up? Or yeah.
Somebody was asking about the scalar device. How is it used? They said
the scalar device. Yes, the scalar device needs to be aimed towards you. It can be 20 feet away. As long as the aim is towards you, the benefit will occur.
Let's obviously this is somebody who knows about scalar device, but let's talk about what scalar device is.
Well, the scalar is the empty space everywhere in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
According to quantum physicists, all empty space is filled with scalar energy. In an empty space the size of a helium molecule, there's enough energy to boil the ocean. So scalar energy is focused electronically and amplified through our adrenomedullary scalar device. And it does lower free radicals in your body by being exposed to it.
That's one of the factors in premature aging.
Exactly.
Powerful stuff. I hope we addressed the question. Thank you. That's.
And does your clinic offer intravenous vitamin C and ozone?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So the question is, does our clinic offer intravenous vitamin C and ozone?
Since 1979.
Yes, sir.
And last question, does a person need to take K2 with vitamin D?
You need, if you're taking it for just general health purposes, you need 100 micrograms of K2. If you're taking it for treatment of a serious illness, you may need 15 to 45 milligrams of K2. That would need a consultation to tell you how to do it.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, the basic dose of K2 is found in the essentials.
Of course, the 100 micrograms is in the essential multivitamin mineral, because that much everybody needs.
So that's, for general healthy people or people without specific issues, my general recommendation, I'm just going to say it out loud there. Essentials, which is a good multivitamin, B complex, youth formula, vitamin D3.
And astaxanthin.
Yes. Now we're going to have to spell this one again.
Astaxanthin.
Yes, between 10 to 30 milligrams, but also magnesium lotion and, depending on other questions or concerns, perhaps
other
some
rings.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think this is it. So just to finish up, the Biogenics is going to be at a significant discount for well over 68 exercises now, and self-regulation is priceless. You can't put up. The value is tremendous. The capacity to be okay, regardless of whatever condition. The capacity to be, I call it freedom. Freedom from illness. Freedom from negative thoughts. Freedom from external nonsense. Yes. Well, sounds like we're getting to the same point. Yeah.
In the meantime, have a good one.
Yep. And we'll see you.